Hi there, welcome to another video. Got another tip for the Prime 4. This one is pretty a common one. Pretty a common, I wouldn't call it a problem, but I'll definitely call it a situation, and there is a solution to it. Now, if anyone's ever recorded on a Prime 4, recorded a mix, they would have noticed when they go to play back, the level's really low. Okay, so I believe, and there's one issue that's never been addressed when it comes to the updates. The level's always low. It's not drastically low, but it's not a level that you'd want to use as a finished product, i.e. upload the mix, put it on a CD. So I wouldn't say it's a solution to the recording, but there is a solution to the end product when you master it. What it's down to, it's not really, I wouldn't say this is a problem that can be solved on the Prime 4 itself, but it's more of a problem if you don't know how to do it. But if you don't know how to do it, you will know how to do it. Okay, word, if you reach the end of this video. So this is what will happen. So basically, normally you've done your mix, it's in your sessions folder. If you don't know what your sessions folder is, basically when you open up your drive, let's see. Oh, I haven't got my drive plugged in at the moment. Excuse that. But there you will see a folder on your Prime drive called Sessions. In there, whatever you recorded will be there. So whatever you named it as, you open it up. Yeah. So what you do, I use my little friend. I call it my little friend, my little companion, called Audacity. So say for example, right here, this is a mix that I've done way while back, as you can see, 1.61. That's the version I did it on. Always like to, when I update it, I always have a nice little mix. Yeah, just to make sure everything's working. So this is something I just done. Okay, I'm not really going to play anything from it because I don't want this video to get like flagged up or anything. But anyway, so what you do in Audacity, it doesn't have to be Audacity, any audio software that you use, you should be able to do everything that I show. All right, so I'm going to open it up in Audacity. So there you will see the waveform. So there we go. As you could see, this waveform, you might say, okay, but I'll show you. Let me give you an example of what a real like finalized mastered waveform looks like. So you could see what we're dealing with. So we'll just take one of these tracks here, and I'll open up in Audacity, and you could see what a mastered waveform looks like. As you can see the difference here, this is pretty small. It doesn't even peak up to 5 and minus 0.5. 1 is like the maximum, as you can see, and it doesn't even reach 0.5. Yeah, obviously this is a master track pulled from an album, and it's everything, the whole waveform is full. Okay, so that's what, when you play it back at a good level, that's normal. Remember the word normal. So we can get rid of this, we don't need that. So we need to basically get our waveform looking like that one that I showed you, and it's very easy. So once you open up your waveform or your wave file, first thing you need to do is highlight it. And remember the word normal? You go to your effects section and you look for the effect, or should I say the process called normalize. Then you'll come up with this little window. Leave everything ticked. Everything set as it needs to be. Now this number here, I've put it to minus. This is the peak. Yeah. So 0 is like maximum. But I'm not going to set it to 0. I'll set it to 0.1. So it sits just underneath maximum. Just in case sometimes when it does process it, sometimes the level could peak over a little bit. If you have it at 0 and it peaks over a little bit, that means it will definitely clip. And you would hear it like a digital distortion. not a good sound you want to hear. So I always set it to minus 0.1. So if it does peak over, it's not going to clip. Just as a safety, always allow yourself headroom. Now, let me come back to the word headroom. Now, the reason why, let's come back to this. Now, you might think, well, why do they set it so low? All right, say for example, you do a mix, and at the end of the mix, you want to add in a couple drops, maybe want to add in a couple effects. If your level is at maximum, there's nothing you can add to it. Because if you add anything to a wave file that is at maximum already, it's going to clip. So these blank areas is known as your headroom. So if I wanted to add like a drop in another jingle or something, at least I can add it in and it's not going to peak over when I've mastered the final thing, when I've added it and saved it all together. Yeah, so now I've got room to play with this level, and I've got room to play with the level of what I've added in. So that way it doesn't peak. And I believe that's the reason why they set it at a level that it's not too loud, where you can do things to it afterwards. Ask anyone who does recording. No one records anything at maximum. Things have to have a headroom, even while you're mixing. Yeah, even while you're playing live, you must give yourself headroom. That's why you do not whack your levels all the way up. Say for example, you're doing a mix and your levels are peaking about 3/4 the way up on the level meter. If you add effects to it, those levels can go up. So if you're at maximum and you add effects, that's why it will sound horrible. So everything always needs headroom. So that's the reason why, which I believe, why it's set so low. But back to what I was saying now. We want to set this level high. So we're not going to add anything to it or anything. We just want this mix to be boosted up. So what you do, you go to the effect section and you go to normalize. Everything's set. I set mine to minus 0.1. You could set yours to minus 0.2, 3. You could even set it to 0 if you wanted to. But I keep it at minus 0.1. Hit OK. So now it starts processing it. And you will see the difference. So now, as you can see, it's a lot bigger. But it's not full as the other one. But remember, that one was just one track, okay? That was just one track and it was filled all the way. This is different tracks, yeah? As you can see, you got little peaks, you got little troughs, peaks and troughs, peaks and valleys throughout the mix. And you can see what this section here is just one track. Then it gets into a mix. Now, when you mix in, obviously levels clash together, join together, will boost things up. Yeah. Frequencies clash together, will boost things up. Once the mix is finished, you're back into the track, everything kind of levels off. Okay. So you can keep it like this. Trust me, it will sound a lot louder, but you can get it a bit higher than that. Now, what we're going to do, where these mixes are, where levels come together, boost everything up, what we could do, we can cut this down a little bit. Now, there's different ways to cut it down. You could add a compressor effect on it, but I don't like to really add compressor effects to my mixes. The reason why, first of all, the tracks that you're mixing have already been compressed. In order to get it mastered and get it all leveled, it's been compressed. Now, if you start compressing compressors and compressing compressors on top of that, things are not going to sound too good. You're going to lose a bit of dynamic range. So the most easy, the way I can keep it as natural sounding as possible is literally just turn these down a little bit. And the easy way to do that, I'm not going to go through each one, highlight it, adjust the level. What I'm going to do is use a limiter. So I go to effect and I go to limiter. And I use a soft limit. So it does it softly. It doesn't just cut it down, it does it softly. So what I'll do, I've had it set to minus, you can see the limit to minus 4.2, yeah, dB, right? So basically what that means, as you can see, this is like, this shows you the level. So say for example, if I was to play this bit here, I don't know if I could do it, but I'm going to play it for a split second, but just keep an eye on the levels up here, okay? So I'm going to play this section here. So if you, as you could see, it's peaked up to about just around -6, okay? Just I'd say -5.5 or something like that. So what this would do, this effect here, what this effect will do, the limiter, oops, I haven't highlighted it, my bad. To highlight it, you could just double click it, or you could just put this hand up on top of the waveform and it highlights it. Just remember, everything has to be highlighted before you attempt to do it. So I'll go to the limiter, and what this is saying, when this reaches it'll limit everything to -4.2 dBs, yeah? So that's the highest it will reach. And roughly, it's most probably a bit more than that, but then what it'll do, it'll take the high, anything above 4.2, it'll shrink it down. So you'll see what you'll see what's gonna happen now. So it runs through the process, takes a little while. As you can see, this mix is about just under an hour long, yeah? So it has to go through that whole hour's worth of the mix and adjust the levels. So now, as you can see, things are shrunken down a bit, but these peaks and troughs have definitely gone a lot smaller now. Or should I say these peaks have gone a lot smaller. It doesn't have to be totally flat out and even, but they have gone a bit smaller. So now you can, now that these have gone smaller, you can boost everything up again, yeah? So what do we do again? Go to normalize. Hit OK. And now you can see this has gone a lot bigger, yeah? This bit was, if I play this bit again, remember where it was last time? Just about 6. Or should I say -6? Now it's peaked up to say about, I'd say -2, okay? So now we've got it a lot higher now. So now when it gets to the mix section, it's literally just under 0. So there's no way it can distort. And that's the safest way to do it. This is one of the ways, okay? Without going in too deep, using compressors, this and that. But that's one of the ways. And that's the way I use to boost my levels, yeah? So if I was to play this back alongside any other mixes or any other tracks, it should sound, the level should be very similar, yeah? You don't want to get compressing too much, because as I said, when you get to the mixes, it's going to sound, everything will starting to sound a bit crushed and won't sound as free. So I say this is the best, well, for me, this is the best way it works for me. So this is a way how you can sort out your recording level after recording your mix on a Prime 4, Denon Prime 4. If you like what I'm saying, if it helps you, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll have some more tips for you as well. But if you don't agree with my method, or if you know another method, I don't mind. As I say, there's a million ways to do this. Feel free to leave it in the comments, okay? All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, take care.